Tonight, we're not talking about golf. We're talking about some deal reviews. I'm going to go through the last 3 deals that I did. I'm going to have all of the numbers for you guys. I've talked about some of these throughout the months, that I've been doing them, and kind of giving you like guesstimates of where I thought I was and where I was going to be and all that stuff. These are the real numbers. The lessons I learned now that I'm 100% through them, either sold or refied and rented them out. So we're going to talk about some real decisions that I'm looking at with the projects that I'm either in escrow for to buy right now or that I'm already in, okay? Or that I've already closed on. All right? Sound exciting? Yeah. Guys ready to see some numbers? Yeah. All right, well, before we do that, I'll show you some pictures. And I forgot a slide. So what makes this useful? Real numbers. I'm trying to give you real numbers, okay? So I kind of already covered this. What surprised me, what I missed, what I do differently, and we're going to talk about that decision at the end of this of like whether I should sell this particular deal or keep it. And we're going to walk through what that looks like. Okay, so no theory. There's no this isn't like just all the perfect deals, and I just try and fluff up how awesome these deals are all the time. And just a couple picks and raw numbers. Okay, so the deals overall, we're going to talk about a Crestline mobile home in a park. Okay, a duplex that I did up in Crestline, a mobile home on land that I finished in Hesperia. Those are the 3 past deals. Okay, and then the next ones coming up are those mobile home on land and homeland. That's a tongue twister. Mobile home on land and homeland. Say that 10 times fast. Crestline, another single-family residence project that I'm doing with Mr. Alfonso, there he is. And then a condo that I just picked up in San Bernardino, and that's the one we're going to talk about of like, do I sell it or keep it? Okay, so the last 3, what actually happened? This is some pictures, so that's a before and after of the kitchen on the Crestline mobile home in a park that I just did. Those of you that were in the rehab class, you probably recognize this. We talked about this one quite a bit. You'll notice, or you might not have noticed at first, but those are all the original cabinets. Okay, those cabinets are just painted. Same with the countertops. Those countertops are just painted. Okay, those are reglazed. I did do the sink. Okay, the sink was. I didn't want to do the sink. Okay, my contractor was like, yeah, we could do it. Don't worry about it. I was like, all right. So, but I wasn't going to do it originally. And then there was a walkway through here. So like right there, I forgot the laser doesn't really work on this thing. So where there's a walkway right here, there was a dining room. So basically, there's a dining room right here, where whatever that is, you can see there. And then it goes out to the living room that's behind here. Okay, so just close that in and then put a wall on that side and turn the dining room into a 3rd bedroom. So this went from a 2-1 to a 3-1 with, I don't know, about $2,000 worth of walls, and then made it worth probably like $10,000 more than it was as a 2-1. Okay? And then what else I do? Fixtures, obviously, light fixtures, that kind of stuff. All new hardware. I replaced all the hardware on there. New appliances. My strategy with these things is pretty much to, clean them up, make them nice, use as much as possible. And then I let the appliances do their job because I want those to pop. Okay? So I don't put in like ugly white or, I don't skimp out on the appliances. I spend my money on the appliances, get them nice, new, fresh. And then people walk in and see that kind of stuff's new. Fixtures, handles, all that stuff. The stuff you touch. Okay? Did I redo the ceiling? That's just paint. No, what you're seeing, you probably talk about the lines. Yeah, they're there. It's just painted. Yeah, I didn't redo the ceiling there. And there was a couple doors that needed to be fixed and rehung, and drawer fronts you can see down here needed to be fixed. But for the most part, and obviously I redid the floor. The inside of the cabinets, those got painted too. Oh, okay. Yeah, they all just get sprayed out. Brenda? So did people eat here, if you got rid of the dining room, where was their... If I got rid of the dining room, where was people eat? I don't know, their couch? Wherever they want. I don't think a whole heck of a lot of people are sitting down and sitting at their formal dining rooms anymore, which is why they're normally converted to bedrooms nowadays. I think most people are probably sitting down in front of their TV. I don't know, I could be wrong. Who sits at their formal dining room in here? that needs dinner? 7 of you. Okay. Okay, who sits on their couch and eats? Don't be ashamed. Don't be shy. Yeah. Everyone's like, what were you saying, Kiana?
Depends on the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even sit. I just walk around and eat. Much to Caitlin's dismay. Huh? Does the kitchen bar count? Yeah, there's still like a little thing right here where they can put a couple bar stools. It's not a very big kitchen, but yeah, it's still there. It's still there.
Did you paint the cabinets in place?
I did paint the cabinets in place. Yep. Well, I didn't paint them. They did. Yes. No, I wouldn't take them all out and refinish them. For these, there's a little bit more of a process. If you're going to paint these cabinets, you got to prep them and do that kind of stuff. You don't just like walk in and spray. You got to get all the oil and grease and all that stuff up, prime them, all that kind of stuff. So it generally, to be honest with you, it generally works out to be labor-wise about the same as installing a new kitchen on labor-wise. What I'm saving is the cost of all the cabinets. Okay? And if I'm going to reglaze something, I'm saving the cost of all the countertops as well. Okay? That color is called DEW, I think it's 340. It's called, I had to look this up somebody Google DEW 340. See if that comes up, if I got my number right. What is it?
No, it's Dunn Edwards.
It's Dunn Edwards.
That's not. That's the white.
Oh, that's the, well, no, not those walls, but that's the trim color that I've used for 8 years on 90 different houses, so. I don't remember what the color's off. It's a newer one that I've been using, and it's not green. It's like something gray. No, the 340's wrong. Sorry, I'll find it for you guys. She'll find it. It's in Slack somewhere. Just type in DE. Whisper. No, that's not that one. It's not Whisper. Whisper's my trim color. Okay. Yep, that glaze is the same as tub shower glaze. Now, normally I would not want these to be white. When I do it in the kitchen, I normally do the speckle, like the spackle look, where it looks like Corian or, kind of granite-ish. This was a new guy, and they were doing the bathroom too, and they just sprayed the thing out the same way, the same white. So I didn't really care, to be honest, and the person that bought didn't either. So. The longevity, probably about a week. No, if you treat it well, it'll last a long time.
Right after closing?
No, if you treat it well, it'll last a long time. But if you take a hot pot and stick it on there and slide it across, it's gonna rip it right off. Yeah. So I'd warn people that it's painted. Use a hot pad. Be nice to it. That's why I don't really like. So when I use this stuff too in the bathrooms and kitchens and stuff like that. If I'm saving it for a rental, I won't use it in the tub because it never lasts in the tub or the sinks or anything like that. No matter, I've had guys that charged a lot of money to do this, charged a little money to do this. They've all failed. So any flat surfaces that are not countertops that aren't going to be getting, these aren't going to be getting sprayed and hit with water and people standing on them and, well, hopefully not. But if they do, that's their problem. But yeah, no, this should last, for years. As long as you're treated well. But yeah, if you just slide your stuff across it, it's going to scratch it. The special paint for the cabinets, they make cabinet paint that you can buy. I don't know what the speciality of it is. I don't know if that's a word, but what's that? Yeah, so we use regular paint. They put a higher quality primer on them, and it's all in the prep. So with any paint, it's all in the prep. Okay, it doesn't matter. You could buy the expensive primer, the expensive paint, whatever you want to do, and if you don't prep it right, it's going to fail. So a lot of it comes down to prep. You guys have to, clean off all the grease and the oil and all that stuff, and get that stuff clean and off of there, and then a light sanding and all that. You don't have to get it back to the wood. To give it the best shot, but then a good primer and a good paint after that. If they skip those steps and they just try and spray finish paint on it, it's probably not going to last very long. So, Zinser it in. Yes, beautiful. Gray monument. Yeah, does that look gray to you? No. Yes, good point. Yeah, so, well, like I said, I use better paint in general. I don't use Behr or Glidden. It's Dunn Edwards. Do I supply the paint? Yeah, of course I supply the paint. I don't give it to the homeowner. I even give them extra. Unless I got a lot of jobs going on, then I'm like, no, bring the paint. We're gonna do it on the next one. What's the number? DET 602. Gray monument. Monument gray. I'll warn you, it looks nothing like, some of these paint colors in the bucket look nothing like they do. Like you'll open up these things and you'll be like, that's not it. And then you'll paint it on the wall and you're like, okay. Is that picture pretty true to life? Yeah, that picture's pretty true. Yeah, I would say it's probably closer to like these lowers where it's darker. Yeah. All right, let's talk about some numbers. So I bought this in November of 2025. I think it was towards the end of November. So, and then the strategy was to flip it. I got it for $500. I'm a big spender. It was too much. I paid too much for it. They should have paid me $500 to take this thing. I bought it from the park directly. So it was on a lien sale. I have a really good reputation with this park. I don't even have to show up for the lien sales anymore. They just do them. And then if nobody shows up, they call me with the paperwork, and they don't even wait for me to sign it anymore. They just do it. Now, they wanted $10,000 was what the back things were owed on this that they wanted it for. That was my offer. Yeah. Because I learned the last one I bought from them, the first one I ever bought from them, I paid like $5,000 for, and I thought I was getting a good deal. I mean, it wasn't bad. I made money, but I could have made more. So, and then the next one I got, I paid $2,000 for, and they kept saying yes. So I'm like, well, how about $500? And they said yes, with 6 months of free space rent on top of it. So, so the next time they come, what do you think? I think I'm just going to say pay me and see what happens. I mean, what's the worst they could say? No, you got to pay us $500. All right. We're going to cut this out of the recording so they don't see this accidentally. All right. Closing and holding costs cost me about like $10,000 in fees and all that stuff. I had to give some credits away at the end on this one. My rehab budget was $50K going in. My rehab actual was 48. So pretty dang close, even though there was some surprises. Things were a little bit more jacked up than I was hoping. But how long did it take me? 8 months. It was supposed to be 3 to 6. I think it probably sat for 4 before anybody even touched it, mainly because my guys were very busy. So I borrowed a total of $60,000 from a club member, and that was how much I paid them for that. So $4,000 to them. And if I could say it in one sentence, this really shouldn't have taken that long, but taking that long put me in like the best selling season. So I listed this like thing in June, I believe, or the end of May. So that was way better than listing in like February, especially up in the mountains. Yeah. So not the end of the world, just, extra $2,000 or so of holding costs. Okay. As far as the actual numbers, my all-in was about $58,744.56. I told you I was getting to the penny today. So that was my all-in. It was listed for 89. I took an offer for 85, and then they got me for a couple thousand on credits, mainly because by the end of it they did their inspection, and the buyer was this like kid who had never bought a house, and his mom was like paying, or his aunt was paying for it for him, and she was writing the check, and she was like, whatever, and requested a credit. And at that time I had 7 other deals going, and I was just like, they want $2,000. What did they want? $1,500. They got me. Gone are the days where I fight for $1,000, like 500 final offer. Go find another house. I think I said that first, and then Evelyn was. Yeah, she let me sit on the couch for about 5 minutes, and then Evelyn was crying, the baby was crying, and then she's like trying to take out her laptop and type up the counter to like for the $500, and I'm like, just hit the accept button. I'm like, whatever. So, what surprised me about this one was how even more jacked up than it really was. This one really looked, when I walked it, there was a lot of stuff in this one. So be careful when there's a lot of trash and all that in it. It hides a lot, okay? So there was a bunch of trash in it, and the outside of this one was clearly jacked up. It was a 1970s that had the like the old cardboard siding on it, like pressed cardboard siding, and it was all completely like disintegrating. So I knew that going in. We were gonna have to do a lot of siding and skirting. All the skirting was bad. That I knew going in. I knew the inside needed work. But what I didn't realize was that, like, you know, there was a lot of areas in the subfloor that were just completely rotted out. We ended up replacing like most of the subfloor in it, and then having to insulate, you know, under the trailer and all that stuff. So, you know, rehab, even though I was budgeted for it, I didn't think I'd actually have to spend it, to be honest with you. But when you run these numbers, you want to give yourself padding because there's always going to be something, right? They replaced it with the press board on the outside or the inside. That just got replaced with whatever the cheapest 4x8 siding was at Home Depot. Yeah, it's the smart panel, I think. It's like $35 a panel or something. It might be more. I mean, preferably, if I was going to keep it, I would be putting hardy siding on it. We use hardy siding on the skirts if they're going to be touching the ground, because the other stuff just sucks up water like crazy. But yeah, the whatever on these things, pretty much everything that goes into mobile homes and parks, unless it's like a, you know, higher end park, which there's not that many of them. So this is all like the cheapest, you know, builder grade, you know, style stuff. I'm not putting anything super nice into these things. Okay. The mistake I made on this one was, which again, I'd say it's a mistake, but it worked out because it put me in a better buying season or selling season. So, but my crews were just stretched like too thin on this. I had one crew on like 5 rehabs all at once, and they had multiple crews, but you know, they were juggling a lot, and that's one of the, I'll save that for a little bit later. What I would have done differently is, yeah, I'm definitely keeping a closer eye on my crews, visiting job sites more, that kind of stuff, making sure stuff's actually happening. You know, it's tough when you use a newer crew and they do a couple of jobs and they usually do, you know, the first few are always awesome. The first few are not the test for a new contractor if they're going to work out long term. It's like the few after the first few. Okay, so then you get a real idea of like what they're capable of and how well they can manage all their stuff and all that. Okay, so keeping a closer eye on my crews. Shouldn't have taken that long, but put me in a better selling season. It's all right. So, any questions on that guy before we move to the next one?